All right, ladies and gentlemen, Nooga Cowboy back with you. Time to start riding some of these 2021s. And today, we're on the 2021 Indian Scout Bobber ABS. So, looking forward to seeing how this bad boy performs. Here you go. As always, I'm always going to say you need to change out the exhaust because it just doesn't do it for me, but that's just me. Y'all can do what you want to. All right, let's go. I really love this bike. If you watch the channel and seeing some of my other test rides, you know how much I love this bike. You know, I love the looks of it. I love the performance of it. It has some issues, but that's all right. Those are issues that you could fix. All right. And we will certainly discuss those. It's going to be a lot very similar to the 2020 Indian Scout Bobber. 100 horsepower. An absolutely beautiful bike and powerful bike. Coolness factor 1 million. Lowered rear suspension gives it that extra mean look. 6-speed, again 100 horsepower. It really is all that you could need, all that you could want. As always, we're going to test the acceleration, we'll test the braking. We'll make sure that we have everything covered. The comfortable ability, that's not a word. How comfortable is the freaking bike? That's it. We're just kind of cruising right now and see we're in 4th gear. No issues with power. About 50 miles per hour. So yeah, I'm digging it. And I got a couple places up here where we can really check a couple of things. You know, when I mentioned being comfortable, yeah. We're gonna find out right up here. What is this? A yield sign? What is even? There's no yield sign. What are y'all talking about? Oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. See? That's why you got to pay attention, ladies and gentlemen, because people don't. It's got to be on you. I could have honked my horn and flipped her off, but out of town. It's not that kind of party today. All right, here's the test. Suspension test. Oh. I love it. All right, you can tell it's a lowered suspension. Let's just say that. It's all right. I'm not gonna count too many points against it. And one of the things I love about these bikes is you can really lean into it. You can get it down. With it being lower, it just makes it feel like you're really laying it down. Not like that, but you know what I'm saying. All right, we're gonna catch this red light. And the brakes, by the way, the brakes are fantastic. Probably the best brakes I've experienced on any of the Indians I've rode. It's been a little bit since I've rode some of them, so, but from what I can remember, great brakes. You can see you don't have to pull it in too much. It starts catching right there. Whew. Is this a sport bike or a bobber? You tell me. Feels like a friggin' sport bike, dude. Sorry, I'm moving my head a little bit. I'm kind of excited. Anytime I can get on one of these bobbers, scout bobbers, I love it. Probably the most fun bike I've been on. Tell you what, though, the Challenger. Believe it or not, the Challenger is a fun bike. I mean, it is what it is, but it's a fun bike to ride. We'll be riding one of those 2021 Challengers coming up pretty soon. And I don't know what these bars, if they're called beach. I don't think they're called beach bars. but obviously they don't have the reach as your Scout bars do. So you are going to be leaned over a little bit more, just like the 2020s. But obviously you can get some mini apes to put on it to help with your posture a little bit. But not a big deal unless you're putting some serious miles on the bike, a long trip. Then might have a little back fatigue there. And butt fatigue too. It's been my complaint since I rode the 2020 with the Scout bobbers. The seat is not for long runs. I go this test ride I'm doing today, it'd be fine. You know, but you can tell it's not much padding there. It's mainly looks. And I'd be okay with that if I'm not making long runs. But you know, if I'm making long runs, which some people do on these bikes, then maybe a new seat's something you need to think about. So I'll go over that at the end of this ride. Just kind of, if you're looking for ultimate comfort when you're riding this bike, you don't want a touring bike, you don't want a Springfield, you don't want a Scout, you want this bike, but you want to make it as comfortable as possible. I'll tell you what you need right before we wrap up this ride. So stay tuned. Big thank you to Crockett Power Sports for letting me take out this beautiful motorcycle. Good people at Crockett. So if you're looking for a bobber, a Scout Bobber 60, Springfield, Chieftain, Roadmaster, man, they're going to treat you right. I don't say that because just because I like them. That's the truth. Just ask around. Look at reviews. Crockett Power Sports, they are the real deal. I love those guys, and I love what they do for the community. I like the position of these mirrors. You got the bar end mirrors. I mean, you can see what you need to see as far as viewing behind you. And it's not a huge mirror, but as I said, you can see what you need to see. And it's amazing, 100 horsepower on this motorcycle, and you feel it. And once we get on the ramp, the entrance ramp up here, you'll see. You add acceleration, you add power, and you get quite the performance. All right, so we got the entrance ramp coming up here, right past Hardee's. This portion of this test ride not brought to you by Hardee's, but I do enjoy some of their burgers. Hey Hardee's, reach out. You wanna get a collab going? Holla at your boy. You buy, I'll eat. I'm all for it. All right, so we'll bring it down to a second gear. Come on, baby. I missed that one. Nice. Now, as a beginner, you can ride this bike, but let me tell you, you got to be careful with it, because it can and will get away from you. We're talking 100 horsepower, man. This isn't your Nighthawks. This isn't a 250. This isn't a Rebel 500. This is 100 horsepower, 2021 Indian Scout Bobber. By God. We're cruising in sixth right now, about 3450 RPM. So let's get up to the crest here and see how much juice she has left. Is there such thing as a rolling sixth gear start? Right, let's bring it back down. All right, I mean, what can you expect? You're in sixth gear. There's still some juice there. And you are catching a lot of wind. Understand that when you get up to speed, interstate highway speed, you are catching a lot of wind. But I don't care. You probably don't care either. You look cool on this bike, that's all that matters. Now, one thing I would suggest for this, and I would suggest it on any stock bike if the exhaust is not up to par, especially on this one and the Scout 60, replace the exhaust. just not loud enough. And as you saw earlier in this video, I don't know if the lady was just not paying attention or didn't hear me. Maybe it's a combination of both. But if you have a good exhaust on there, loud and alive, you want to be loud, let people know. Now sure, maybe some of it's machismo. I'm okay with that. Even if you're a lady, you can have a little machismo. Say, hey, we're here. I know you hear me. It's all about safety. Let people know you're around so they can be looking. Look at that. You can lean into it. All right. Brake. Great brake. You need it. All that horsepower, baby. Let's go ahead and address. If this is the bike you're dead set on, but you want to be as comfortable as possible, you don't like the idea of being bent over more than you would with some of the other Indian bikes, here's what I would suggest. Mini apes. I've mentioned those before. I would put mini apes on this motorcycle. That will help with your posture, maybe give your back a little break. A different seat. Definitely a different seat. You know, as I said before, you can deal with it. If you're just around town and no worries, then don't worry about it. But if you're thinking about taking like a weekend ride, or if you are one of those Sturgis people, or Daytona, whatever it may be, you definitely want a different seat. You talk about just overall funness. Another word that doesn't exist. But when you get on this bike, you can't help but smile. I mean, it's just bottom line. You can't help but smile. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about this bike. A few things I would change, but overall, it's just awesome. When I first started doing these videos, the 2020 Indian Scout Bobber was the first one I did. The very first one. Official test ride, I should say. And the guys at Crockett Power Sports are A+ guys. And when you deal with them, they treat it like you're part of the family. And that's the way it should be. They're going to make sure you're happy with the purchase, you're happy with the way you were treated. So if you're in the Chattanooga area, or if you're not, and you just want to deal with someone that's going to treat you right, Crockett Power Sports, Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'll stand by that all day, every day, even on leap years. Alright, so overall rating, sitting on the bike, how comfortable are you? Give it a B. Yeah, I'm good with a B. We'll give it a B. Acceleration, I will give it a A. Some people like it more torquey. Some people like a smoother throttle. I feel this is somewhere in between. It is a smooth throttle, but you can still feel it. You know, if you twist it, you feel it. So I say it's somewhere in between for me. Performance, I'll give it an A. Braking, an A+. I mean, the brakes are fantastic. Suspension, well, it is what it is. And I'm not sure how much better you can make it, but based on what we're working with, B-. Looks, A+. Love the looks of the bike. Handling, A. This is my favorite Indian bike. It just is. So maybe there's a little bias there, but if you could feel my enthusiasm, I think you would, and you're looking for the bobber, a bobber, then I think you would enjoy it. And we are here. I'll get off the bike and give you a little walk around. So there you go. Low, lean, mean. Get a view from the rear. What do y'all think of the exhaust on these bikes? Let me know. I think it's a bit much, but I mean, I don't have too much of an issue with it. Change those out. It's matte black all over the place. Love it. Let's take a look at the front. It's a simple bike, but man, what you get out of it, worth the money. You can see the specs in the description. You know, 2021 Indian Scout bobber with ABS. Gotta love it. Beautiful bike. Thanks everybody for watching. 2021 test rides are underway. Right here at Crockett Power Sports. Big shout out to them again. Make sure you join me on Instagram, Nooga Cowboy, and hit that subscribe button. Like the video. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.